Hello, and thank you for joining us today on Tia Talks. I'm your host, Patricia Contreras with Tia Talks and PAnn Financial. You can find us online on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. It's Friday the 13th, but guess what? We've got good luck today, not bad. I want to go ahead and get started today by introducing my first guest. Her name is beautiful Bonita Owens, and she is with AWN Leadership Consulting. Hello, Bonita. Come on in. Yay! Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming out today. I know you could have been doing anything else, but thank you for being here with us today to celebrate Friday the 13th.
Yes, I love how you said, but we're not unlucky.
No, we are lucky. That's why we're here. Celebrating life.
Yes.
So, Bonita, let's get started and let's find out a little bit about who is Bonita. Where is she from? Who is she? What does she do? What inspires her? What motivates her? Who does she support?
Okay. I am Bonita Owens. I am actually, well, it's a sort of question where I'm from.
Okay.
Born in Ohio, raised in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, awesome.
And as I actually moved all over. I'm a military spouse. My husband is active duty Army.
Okay.
Yep. So actually, we've been here now almost 10 years. It's the longest I've ever been anywhere. We normally move every 3 years or so. And about me, well, I actually have two arms of my business. I started off doing women's empowerment, which I still do. Amazing Women's Network is the name of that company. Started doing that because out of my own story. My own story of realizing that through marriage and raising kids, I just left myself off of the list. I left myself somewhere,
It
right?
happens.
And I've always been ambitious and creative. And one day I just woke up and was like, wait, where did I go? Right? I took on the identity of wife and mom, and being a military spouse is a whole other thing.
Thank you for your service, by the way, because the family is the one who really, takes a toll on the service part of, the moving, holding up the family, holding up the household.
Yes, for sure. So through all that, I just didn't really think of myself much, right? Didn't think of taking care of myself much. Didn't think of what, lights me up, what brings me joy and passion. And I was not an unhappy person, so I don't want to,
Right.
I'm grateful for my family and for my life, and I just knew there was more for me to do. And so being on that journey.
The kiddos are all grown up now?
No, well, now they are.
Okay.
This was when they were still young.
Oh, okay.
They were still young, yeah. And but I just, it's so funny you should ask that question, because I ran into a woman who was older than me and said she had reinvented herself, and I loved her story. And I went up to her and I told her how she inspired me, and I was looking for something more in my life. And she told me that I should wait until my kids are out of the house.
Wow.
Yeah. And my kids were 2 and 3 at the time.
No.
And I was like, what? That was like giving somebody a sentence to me.
It's just like, let yourself go.
I gotta wait 15, 16 years?
No.
And so I went away from that conversation, believe it or not, though. Like, I listened to her.
Oh, you did? Okay.
For about 6 years.
Okay.
I listened to her and I felt guilty. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking this. What kind of mother am I, right? I shouldn't. She's
Where's
right.
My brain? Yeah.
And woke up one day and thought, you know what? No, I don't want to wait. Tomorrow's not promised, first off.
Right.
Secondly, what I realized is that we tell our children, you can do and be anything you want to be. And we expect people, celebrities, right? We expect Oprah or Michael Jordan or, somebody, Kobe Bryant, to inspire them. But they're with us every day. Yeah. And I realized that, this was so much bigger than me. It was about letting my children see me go after my dreams
Your
and
passion.
aspirations. So they know that they can do the same.
You have to model it for them.
Have to model it.
So that they don't give up. Yeah, that's
exactly.
One of the things that I told my dad recently, maybe about 2 years ago, because my dad was not in my life as a child, but he's in my life now as an adult.
Okay.
And so I've seen him, go through his changes and now being a different person. And I've told him, you were not supposed to be in my life then. You're supposed to be in my life now because I see, and you inspire. Your changes have inspired me now as an adult.
Yeah.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on the quest, and I realized that I'm not the only one. Like, I didn't have a unique story in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on a quest to figure out what's my thing. What do I have to give to the world?
Right.
And not to get into the whole long story about it, but I had a light bulb.
Come on.
But I had a light bulb moment in realizing that speaking is something that I've always done all my life, but never thought about doing it professionally. Okay. And then I had another part of my journey where I had a coach and realized, oh, wow, like I've been coaching in some capacity. I've always been that person that was always reading something or watching a video about how to improve myself.
Right.
And I would share that with friends of mine who was going through a hard time. And they would be so inspired by what I shared with them. And so I'm like, whoa, this is who I am as well. So that's how I got into personal and professional development. I'm passionate about helping women be the best version of themselves. And started off that. I've written a book about my journey of self-discovery and self-awareness.
You gotta help me with that because I'm thinking about that.
Okay.
I've reinvented myself a couple of times.
Okay. Love to. And then I got into leadership development throughout the way because I love to teach as well. And I really believe that if, people spend 40 hours or more of their life a week at work.
Yeah. And
if people are stressed out because they're in toxic environments, what happens? They take that home with them, right? And then my motto is life is work, work is life. And so how can I improve people's way of life, and personally and professionally, so that we can pretty much build better communities, right? And so if leaders are better, if their influence is better, if people understand how to communicate better at work, and it shouldn't be a place where you avoid on, you hate to go on Monday and you can't wait to get away from on Friday. And I don't believe that that's the way we need to live.
No, there should be a balance.
Definitely. And so I'm really passionate as well about working with leaders and working with women in corporate so that they can have that confidence and learn how to communicate well with one another and have that work life. It's a whole thing. We don't believe in work life balance per se, but it's so important for busy women, any woman, but especially women who have businesses or who are professional, to take care of themselves and to
put themselves first.
Exactly.
Put themselves first.
Exactly.
Because so many years, I'm guilty. I put my business, not my business, but the employment first. I gave up my upbringing because I was never there. I thought I had work balance because I was working when I needed to, but I could work from home. But I was working 24/7. So what kind of balance is that?
Right.
And until my body said, and then you just have to listen and stop. And unfortunately, that happens to a lot of women. I was just listening to a podcast about that. I was telling you, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Because women, their bodies break down. It all comes from within.
Yeah.
And that's how they realize, okay, now, but if you don't listen to your body, it just gets worse. And then it turns into cancer.
Yes.
It's just horrible.
Yes.
It's horrible. So congratulations, on getting that, taking that challenge on and talking to people about how to try to balance it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's all we can do, try and hopefully find that balance that we need so that we can be better for our families, better for ourselves, better for the community, just better in general.
Well, I was sharing, I've shared this a couple weeks ago when I was here. I share this all the time about balance. It's something that I learned from somebody that really helped me. Because usually when we think about balance, we think of a scale, and it's kind of like Is it here more? Is it here more? And the thought is we got to keep these two things the same. And that's unrealistic. It's not going to happen. There's times where your family's going to need more time and energy. There's times where your business or your job is going to need more time and energy, right?
Right. But
Someone said
you shouldn't have to feel, oh, I'm going to lose my job because I made the wrong choice.
Yes, exactly. But I heard a coach say this that really helped, I think, expands the idea of balance and what it can mean when you think of balanced nutrition.
Okay.
And so when you think of balanced nutrition, right, you need carbs, you need protein, right? You need vitamins, you need minerals. And there's certain times in your life, say if you're going to run a marathon, you may need more carbs than normal.
Exactly.
Right?
To retain those liquids.
Exactly. And so balance, if we look at it in terms of nutrition, where we have different aspects of our lives, and there's certain times where we're going to need to put more focus on one aspect or two aspects of our lives. But the thing is to be aware that you're not going to stay there, right? You're not going to stay eating a bunch of carbs after the marathon. You're going to go back, right, into figuring out what your body needs, right? So same thing in life. It's like, hey, we have different aspects of our lives. We have mental, we have physical, right? We have family, we have relationships. We have different aspects of our lives. And we, to really be aware of where we're putting our time and our energy. And sometimes things get out of whack, but recalibrate and be aware that, okay, I'm getting away from my physical a little bit, right? Or I'm getting away from my mental or spiritual. And what I tell women, especially when it comes to self-care, that I love me a massage and a pedicure. But that is only a small part of self-care, because that's not going to sustain you. I get a massage once a month. I need more.
Right.
So there's daily self-care. There's weekly self-care. There's monthly self-care. There's self-care on different levels. And I think one of the biggest things we can do for self-care on a daily basis is to really protect our time and our energy.
Say no more.
Say no. Yes. In my book, I have a chapter called Power of No. And I talk about this about women, to women a lot. Saying no. And saying no is not bad. Saying no does not make you mean. It's really about saying yes to you. Yes. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't show up to be the mom, the wife, the business owner, the leader, whatever you do in your community. You can't show up as the best version. And that's why your kids and your husband or significant other, they're getting the scraps of you, right? Yeah.
The angry part that comes after work, the release of all the bad stuff during the day.
Yes.
And that's not good because it doesn't end well.
It does not end well. And it doesn't serve us well.
Right.
Who wants to be cranky all the time, right? Or stressed all the time?
Nobody.
And so it really is like, what are the choices that you make on a daily basis? That is self-care as well. So
I choose to get up every morning and work out.
Great. I love it.
And I work out listening to worship music.
Love it.
That fills me, and then I'm ready to conquer whatever.
Yes.
Because I used to not do that, for many, many years, and it was not a life.
Yeah.
It was not a good life. Now I'm happy all the time. I mean, we all have our ups and downs. We're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
But yes, just getting out there in nature, hugging that tree, being, around the birds.
Yes.
And just being with yourself. Just take that time and be with you. Listen to your own thoughts. Just be happy.
Yeah. And I think the biggest lie that we tell ourselves and each other is that we don't have time.
Yeah. You don't have time for what you don't want. And there's always an excuse for what you don't want to do.
It's always. And it's like, it's not about having time. It's about making time. Making time.
You decide your schedule.
Yes.
You decide what you're going to do that day, the day before.
And this brings me a client I just started working with. She realized that she usually when I'm working with a client, the first thing we do is a life satisfaction survey. So we look at different aspects of your life to see where you're satisfied, where you're not satisfied, so we can focus on those areas. So one of the things was physical. And she said, I know I want to exercise, and something I need, but I just don't have time. So I was like, okay, let's talk about that a little bit more. Well, come to find out, we looked at her schedule, and she was going to bed at midnight because she wanted to wait for her husband and she's like, for some reason, even though my kids are grown, I have to wait till everybody goes to sleep before I go to. She's still in that. And so then she's like, okay, but I said, okay, so what? And then she said, then I get up, around 7:30. And I said, okay. I said, so what happens? And she said, well, then my daughter calls and she tells me about her day. And then she's talking to me for a long time. Then by that time, it's time for me to go to work. She has her business, her husband. And I said, okay. And I said, well, is there any reason why you can't just let your daughter know, hey, I need to spend this morning time for myself? She said, well, I don't want to tell her that because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
So let me ask you about that. Daughter is dumping her on her mom.
Yes.
And that's not good either.
Well, and the thing is, I guess, the daughter, I mean, it's their bonding time, right?
Well, if it's bonding, it's different.
Right. And she likes the time, but she was allowing the daughter to monopolize an hour and a half on the phone, and her daughter just talking, right? And so what I said, she said, well, I don't want to hurt her feelings. And so this is the thing. A lot of us don't want to create boundaries because we have a story in our mind. I don't want to hurt their feelings.
I invite my daughter on the bike ride or on a walk.
Well, exactly. And I said to her, okay, so do you think that if you were to tell your daughter that you really needed to take care of your health, do you think that your daughter would have?
No, she's going to appreciate it. She's going to learn from you.
Exactly. So it's a story we tell, right?
Right. And
so at the end of this, we worked out where, like you said, I said, well, is there any reason why you can't talk to your daughter while you're walking? And a lot of leaders do this. Okay, that social time, talking on the phone, they couple it with something. When I'm talking to friends or family or sometimes business, it depends on what it is, I'm gonna walk while I'm doing it, right? That's something where, especially if it's something that you're just having a conversation, why not couple it with exercise?
Right.
Why not? And so you don't have to give up a lot. We think all or nothing, right? I have to be there for my daughter or I have to exercise. I can't have both. It's not true. It's a story we tell ourselves.
And we also need to keep in mind that your daughter doesn't know she's doing that.
Yes.
She doesn't. So unless you put
people
things
don't know what we need unless we tell them what we need, right? And so, but I think that's such a prime example of so many women that I talk to that we get in a loop where I can't do this. I don't have time to do this. I won't. And we have all these stories and excuses, but it really is about making the decision, setting boundaries, being honest with yourself and being honest with other people. And it doesn't have to be this big mountain that we make in our minds, right? And you don't have to give up everything, but find ways that you can have a win-win. So her and her daughter keeps that
conversation, even
she
more bonding, right?
Yes,
because of walking,
and she gets her exercise. And so you don't have to give up everything, but figure out ways to take care of you and do the things that you want to do.
Yeah, it's a big change in your life. I mean, I saw it in me. Like I said, working all those years in corporate America, sitting all the time. Girl, when I left corporate America, I lost 80 pounds.
Wow.
And I've been able to maintain it for 7 years.
Wow.
Because I made changes to and I made changes to what I do on my daily schedule. You know, it makes put myself first now, and everything else aligns afterwards.
Yes. That's so good.
I mean, you have to, like you said, tomorrow's not promised. All we have is today, and today we have to take care of ourselves if we want to serve anyone else.
Exactly.
And that's why we're here, to serve each other. So take care of yourself.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Exactly.
It's not selfish.
No,
it's necessary.
No, it's
not. It's necessary.
I love it. So, what goals do you have for the future? Like, do you have anything coming up? Any speaking events or anything?
Nothing external right now. It's kind of internal things with organizations that I have. But I'm working on something. Look for it next year. We're going to be doing just really some putting on more workshops, the power of no,
Mhm.
really helping women with creating those boundaries so they're not exhausted, so you're not so tired. That's on the horizon. And the other thing that's on the horizon is a journal to complement the book that I wrote. In the book,
great. So you can do your work while you're
right, because after I'm a big one of the things I'm a big journaler, and I'm always encouraging.
Your earrings.
Thank you. Encouraging my clients to journal. I think it's changed my life. I think it's a really powerful practice. And so in the book, at each chapter, I'm giving the reader an action step, an affirmation, and a journal prompt. So I really want to give them a space to really do that journaling and work out. Because my goal is not to just to tell my story, but for women to use my lessons and my story for their own life, and to be able to navigate their own lives and to rediscover who they are, and to really stand in who they are and who they're designed to be.
Be happy.
Yes.
So if someone, because there's several ladies out there listening to you today, if they wanted to get a hold of you, where would they go?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram under Amazing Women Network, or you can email me at bonita@bonitaowens.com, bonita@bonitaowens.com.
Okay, well, we'll definitely be working more because I want to learn more about that book process.
Yeah.
And I love your mission. So, if there's anything I can personally do to help, please, don't hesitate to ask. Because I'm always willing to help others be better.
Love it. Love it.
But I always look at myself in the mirror first because we're not perfect.
No. And I say I don't sell or talk about anything I don't do myself.
Exactly.
So or haven't been through myself. So yes.
That's awesome. So I'd like for you to stay before while I talk to my next guest.
Okay.
Because we started a wonderful conversation. I want to continue it,
okay.
regarding health, fitness, and just a journey altogether.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a second here to get my next guest, and we'll go ahead and go to a little commercial to thank our sponsors. And we're back. Thanks for staying. So my next guest is Jennifer Villarreal with Beauty Nutrition and Omega 8. And she is in the industry of helping us stay healthy. Jennifer, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you coming in and sharing with us a little bit about what you do, who you are, where you come from, what inspires you, and who you support. So let's get started. Tell us, where's Jennifer from? Are you from San Antonio?
I'm born and raised in San Antonio. I pretty much lived all over. I lived in Houston also, and Dallas. I went to Tennessee, That's
Oh, y'all have that in common.
yeah. I lived in Maryville though. Back in Rock.
Okay.
But I always come
Back
San
home.
Antonio. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, love it. I'm not from San Antonio, but when my son turned 1, we moved here, and he's 32 now. So I guess I'm
So
from
you're
here
San
now.
Antonio.
I've been here longer than I was anywhere else.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, tell us a little bit about beauty and nutrition. What inspired you to start that?
Okay, so basically beauty nutrition. So before COVID happened, I was a nail technician. So I guess I've always been in the service of helping others, and stuff like that. So I still currently have my license in cosmetology. I just prefer to do nails. So when COVID happened, all of the salons were shut down and everything, which I feel isn't,
wasn't necessary.
women need it. Women need it.
Yeah.
Men need it. But
Feel the way you look, and that
exactly,
helped, right?
exactly. So basically, at the time, I was doing stuff for like Herbalife and stuff like that, like donuts and muffins and stuff like that. And so I just had to like step away from that, and someone pushed me to basically start my own business. And so what I did was just come up with my own recipes, put my own protein in there, and basically went from there. So I started with the donuts, I started with muffins, then I moved on to like cookies, vegan stuff, like just kept going, and now I do meal prep, I do all sorts of stuff from, cinnamon rolls, empanadas, and stuff like that. And basically what I do is switch out the alternative, so it's either flour or gluten-free flour, or like the sweeteners, I use sweetener instead of actual sugar. So it cuts down the calories, it cuts down the sugar that you intake, which really matters when you are trying to reverse your diabetes, or if you are diabetic,
Right.
you can enjoy those things, because as Hispanic or in our culture, we love our sweets, the panaderías are there for a reason. Yeah, so I think one time my grandma, she's diabetic, and I made her a cake, and to see her enjoy that and be able to get a bigger piece and just like this tiny little sliver, it just made it more important to me. So like it's important to me to like let's try to cut that from our culture, because San Antonio is known for high diabetes, high cholesterol, stuff like that. So if I can make a difference even with one person, that makes it worth it.
It sure does, because you're saving a life, girl.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference, if you ask me. And I just recently, I was telling Jennifer a little bit about that I heard a study that if you're fasting, because that's what I was doing. I was fasting in the mornings, and I still am, aside from the coffee, which I learned that if you're fasting and you have coffee with creamer in it, you're not fasting anymore. So, live and learn. But also learned that if you're fasting, the best way to break that is with the protein. And the drinks that you create are high in protein, high in all natural. And so I just placed my first order. So stay tuned for a review.
Yes,
Because
as the drink. So what that is for the drink also is protein is good to help you get those nutrients, build the muscle, and fat can't live on muscle. So that's when you drop the weight. You know what I mean? But either way, like you still need those important things.
Right, because if you're not doing the protein, then whatever you are working out, it's killing your muscle, not necessarily burning the sugar that's in your system. So that was an eye-opener for me. I was like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. And at my age, you got to make sure that you're checking the right checks and to see the progress, right? Because like I mentioned to Juanita, I lost 80 pounds. I've been able to keep it off for 7 years, but I want to, make a change in the sculpting of my body, and I don't see it. I haven't been able to. So now I'm learning a little bit more. Is what got me to approach you, because I saw that you were bringing things into the medical center, and I was like, well, if it's the medical center and she's FDA approved, is this young lady right here?
I haven't tried the drink yet. I need to order it. I've tried the snacks, which are so amazing.
Yes, they
so
are.
amazing.
They're very delicious.
That chocolate peanut butter. Have you tried those protein balls?
So that's like my top seller. It has 20 grams of protein, and it's a big old peanut butter cup. And I was able to find a mold that is like a skull, so it basically just goes with it. And so
but it tastes better than peanut butter cup.
Thank you. Oh my.
You know what I made recently? I had seen on TikTok those what are they called, dates?
Okay.
Where you open them, take out the seed, fill it with peanut butter, then dunk it in the dark chocolate.
Okay.
I made a whole container of those, and it lasted me like 2 months. But every time I got a sweet craving,
Yeah,
and it tastes just like a Snickers.
Wow.
It was good.
Okay.
My daughter and I said that we're gonna start doing like a little bit more cooking things, just
Yeah.
like because yesterday I mixed some because you know I've been feeling not well with the weather and everything, so I wanted to make sure that I ate something that wasn't gonna cause inflammation in my body. And so I had some veggie pasta, and I had bought some squash. It's the zucchini, the one that you take the spaghetti.
Mm-hmm. Zucchini noodles or
Well, not the noodles. It was the sauce. They made a pasta sauce out of that squash. So I had bought it. So I mixed it together, and then I put a little bit of pecans. I didn't have much of pecans for crunch, and some blue cheese, not blue cheese, feta cheese that I had in there. It was so good, and I got so many likes on my video. I was like, I'm doing the wrong kind of videos. People want to know. They want to know how to be healthier, you know.
Yeah.
And it was simple, cheap. I think I paid $2 for the pasta, maybe $2 for the sauce. The other stuff I had in my fridge.
Goes a long way. Like you can make lasagna out of it. You can do bread out of it.
It was the butternut squash sauce. Yeah.
Okay.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I've had to figure out things, you know, and my kids, because I have 4 kids, and
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Mom just recently told me.
They got full honesty, you know what I mean? So I'll be like, try this out, and like, you know, and I'm like, how about you add a little bit more of this? I'm like, look at you, you know what I mean? So like their honest opinion has actually helped me with a lot of like cookies and stuff like that, because they're like, Mom, I don't think that works. I'm like, okay, yeah.
So that's the thing, because if a kid will like it, an adult's gonna like it, right?
If the kids like it, then the parents will get it for the kids to make them happy, you know. So it's just one of those things, you know. And so and the FDA approval thing, it's I think I'm in shock still.
That's fabulous.
So you got the word official?
No, so I got the official. The whole recipe is approved. I just waiting for the label review to be approved.
And then
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a big challenge. I did that once for a natural company. They were doing natural products. Did all their labeling, all their FDA. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then you also mentioned that you're doing meal preps.
Yeah, so I do meal prep. It's more custom meal prepping. I don't typically have a set menu. So I do from regular, you know, chicken breasts, shredded chicken. You know, I even do enchiladas. I'll do, you know, whatever comes to your heart and you want. And I just, same thing with pastries. I try and just make it a healthier choice with ground turkey, you know, super lean ground beef, you know, or chicken, whatever your heart desires, you know, because you have to love what you're eating, or you're going to get so bored of it, you're going to fall off of what you're trying to do for your body, you know.
Very true.
And, you know, I believe, like, it's like, how you say, like, what you put out to the world, that's what the world gives to you. So what you put into your body, that's what your body's going to give you.
True.
You know, and if you feel good inside, you're going to feel good outside. And people can really tell a difference.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So if you see me, because I'm not feeling good. You see me like this, I'm doing okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. So how long have you been doing this?
The beauty nutrition and cooking, baking, all that, about 4 years now.
Wow.
The drink is like 2.5. I'm a lot bigger in Houston. I go out to Houston twice a month. And I fill up, you know, gyms or people's households, a lot of bodybuilders and powerlifters, stuff like that. I've made it to Galveston, you know, so that's a whole big thing. I mean, Louisiana's right there, so I'm like, trying to look at it, you know. I made it to, I believe it's a humble, you know, Bay City, like all around, like it's surreal.
Yeah, because what is it? Vegetable or plant-based is actually what helps you grow the muscles. A lot of bodybuilders have been talking about that. I've seen that recently, that they've done the switch because
a lot of Arnold videos, a lot of and the drink that you got with the cherry juice. So it's a grape cherry, so it has cherry juice, which cherry juice is good for, is to open up your veins, to help them give oxygen. So when you're doing running or like bike rides, stuff like that, it helps you get better breathing and gives you better circulation. Yeah. So that's really good for. And you said you do bike rides.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, that's why I told Jennifer. I was like, I asked her a little bit about the products, but me knowing my needs, I had to go do a little research based on the ingredients to see, okay, which ingredients best fit my body. And then I told her what I needed. And of course, I could have probably taken up some of her time and she could have educated me, but I just like to be sure, right?
Yeah, of course, you gotta look out for what's.
And I'm so excited because I know I'm gonna see the big change in me.
Yeah, and definitely people have told me, and I honestly don't push it as like a weight loss drink or anything like that. But like I said, once you start building the muscle, which is done with the creatine, the aminos and stuff like that, the protein, then the fat just
falls off. That's me. I don't follow diets. I don't ever get on. I mean, I could, but I've learned in life. I mean, guys, I've even had a lap band put in. It tore my stomach. I had to have it removed. The fast, easy way. And then you see all these people that do get surgeries and then they still don't take care of the mental part. And so they're eating and they're back to where they were. It's all mindset. You've got to take care of the mind, the body, the soul, everything together for it to work. And, just educate yourself on what works best for you. And I have, and that's why I've decided to start, on the journey and include you in my journey for now.
Thank you. That's a big part of it. I get so excited. I'm like, sometimes I fall off of my own stuff, but I love seeing other people, get to where they're supposed to be, because it's so satisfying to me.
Yeah. And then you mentioned that you're probably going to start doing more greens in your.
So yes, I'm gonna start doing. I got with the nutritionist here, Josh, at Evolve, and so I'm actually coming up with juicing, detoxing for like liver, kidneys. Give you more energy. With fruits, vegetables, stuff like that. I also we're working on a all natural like pre-workout, and it's gonna be like a peanut butter ball, but it has pumpkin seed. So one of the ingredients that are in pre-workout is in pumpkin seeds, and so the pumpkin seeds have a more long-lasting
effect.
Yeah, so we're working on
I
that.
love
So,
it.
I mean, to say a nutrition
scientist.
You do become some kind of a scientist.
Nutritionists, like to say like they're all for it with you is I think it speaks volumes, and I'm very blessed to say that, and the juicing, like I said, like if it helps, I have a friend and a couple of customers have fatty livers or something like that, so if the juice can help them, not completely take it away, but help with that, then that makes it.
And it's always so much easier if somebody does it. I mean, you could do it on your own, but are you going to do it on your own, right? And if you're not, you have help right here, and Jennifer will do it for you. And yeah, maybe you're going to pay out a little bit more, but hey, it's convenience. You're taking care of yourself, and you're doing the right thing, which was going to help you be more present, be better for yourself, and everybody else out there.
And mental is, like you said, it's a big thing. Like I believe affirmations, listening to spiritual music, reading, a passage, day to day or even every other day. It just helps your soul and it helps you feel completely.
It helps
better.
you guide you too, because like the Bible that I've read is the leadership Bible. And so it not only tells you the whole Bible, it also separates out what a leader, what part of this scripture is based on leadership and what role a leader should, versus a non, and it breaks it all down for you. And now what I do is I just flip it, and wherever it grabs, that's my message for the day, and then I just go that way. And it does, it fills you, it focuses you. It makes a big difference. When I was younger, I would say, Well, nobody ever gave me the book. Nobody wrote a book on how to be a parent. But hey, guess what? It's right there. You know, I just haven't read it.
And that's for sure. Like, I tell people, like, you're never ready. I hear people say, oh, when I'm ready, I'll have kids. You're never going to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you got to take it, you know, from previous people, you know, what not to do, what to do, you know, and just try to do it in your own way, you know, and hopefully you build human beings that are good for the world, you know.
Right, and if they're seeing you model it, you know, there's no reason that they shouldn't follow. I mean, obviously there are cases where, you know, kids just go the opposite way, but you know, all you can do is do your best.
No, yes,
yeah,
of course.
And you're doing an awesome job, girl. I didn't even know you had 4 kids.
Yeah, I had 3 boys and a girl, and then it's funny because, you know, they watch me a lot because one of my kids, he's like obsessed with Tic Tacs or like mints. So I bought him a couple packs to take with him to middle school. It's his first year in middle school. He comes and tells me, Mom, like a couple days later, I need more. And I go, why? Like, no, he started selling them to students. Yeah, and then
entrepreneur here.
my other son, he's 9, and he makes like origami things, and he trades it for stuff at school, or he sells them for $1 a piece. I'm like, look at y'all. Like, hey, whatever, like, helps break those chains or cycles, you know what I mean? And it's like all mental. Like, I tell him, you can do it. Whatever you want to do, you can do it, and you know, I want to be there for it. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, how do people get a hold of you if they're interested in some of your services?
So I have an Instagram, Beauty Nutrition is beauty _nutrition, or it's omega a.p.e. And then on Facebook, it's basically the same thing, Beauty Nutrition. Or you might see my name, Jennifer Villarreal, pop up, but it'll have the skull on there, and as well as Omega. And you can just shoot me a message, and it'll get right back to me.
Yep. And then y'all should also be able to see Bonita and Jennifer's information scrolling at the bottom of the screen for, you know, more specifics, so that you can reach out to these ladies because they're wonderful and they can definitely make a huge change, impact in your life. And that's what they're looking to do, help you.
Thank you so much.
Which is wonderful. That's, you know, completely wonderful. I love it. So I understand that you will soon have an office.
Yes.
And where will that be?
It's actually going to be like in another room in the same side as the podcast. We're going to have, I'm opening up a boutique /shop with Miss Teresa, that's head of the spa, Evolve. We're going to start, basically, I'll be able to have like meal prep on the go, drinks on the go, the detox like shots, or even in bottle of 8 ounce, stuff like that. And on the boutique side, we're gonna have like vendors or local small vendors to have like earrings, custom stuff like that. Yeah, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
And we're gonna be coming up with our own natural soaps, because what she specializes in is like skin types,
esthetician,
like acne, rosacea, eczema, stuff like that. And so we're gonna be targeting those skin types. So we're gonna do like natural soaps and stuff like that. So it's gonna be kind of part of Beauty Nutrition, but it's gonna be
expanding
partnership. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, third business coming.
That's wonderful. And you know, with that being said, I want to take a minute to thank Evolve Medical Group for allowing us this space, because they're opening up their whole floor here for us to either come and just do a daily visit, and you can have a space to meet with a client if you're interested. At $50 a month, guys, I mean, I pay more than that on a gas tank in my vehicle once a week, and this is $50 once a month. They also have private offices, like Jennifer mentioned. You know, she's getting her private office, and we've got traffic coming in all the time. So there's definitely a client base here that you can take advantage of and help. So if you're going to be here, make sure and contact Jennifer so she can get your meal prep ready. And you'll have lunch. And you'll have your lunch ready to go. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So is there any events or anything that you are going to be doing here in this close future?
hopefully, I'm trying to evolve into doing like a wellness event. So I can get like local people together and show off like, you know, their supplements or any natural things going on, and they'll bring also light to their center as well, because they have a weight loss clinic. They also have the nutritionist. They have the spa area, which everybody loves.
Is that what the workout part is? Is he the nutritionist?
Yes. And he can break it down to the T of what's in everything. He's like, oh, what are you eating? He's like, well, don't you know this and this is that? I'm like, no. But thank you. Now I know. But
then it ruins it.
And then it ruins it. I don't eat nothing. Like, I just drink water and I'm okay. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would, I want to collab also. So if anybody does reach out to me, like, and has like a wellness business or anything like that, like, let's work together. Let's build San Antonio up,
Yeah.
Let's take that ugly name of like overweight people. Like, let's break that. Like, I want to change that.
And San Antonio's going to be known for nutrition.
Yes. Like, let's do
and
it.
Happy people.
And happy people.
I mean, we normally are happy, but
happy eating.
And talk about the happy.
Find happiness in other ways.
No. That's great. So when do you start here at the center?
Hopefully next month.
Oh, next month.
Yeah. We're getting everything together, and I just wanted to make sure that we have those juices going and everything, so we can load up the fridge and we would come in and just grab one as we please and stuff like that.
I'm definitely gonna be a client.
I know this is not my show, but can I ask a question?
Sure, go.
I'm curious about the logo. Why the skull, and where did that come from?
So on my first logo was a donut, like a bitten one, kind of like a Homer thing, and then I have a friend. She's a power lifter. She had a gym. And I was talking to her, like, maybe I should change, like, revamp everything, change logo. So she took it upon herself to actually go to, like, Fiverr or something like that, and just told them, like, the idea of it. And I picked this one because I feel like it culturally goes with it. It's like a sugar skull kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I love Halloween. I love stuff like that. Like, I have tattoos with skulls all over it, So it's just one of those things, and I think it just fits. It brings a lot of people's attention.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. I thought it was like eat and keep death away.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah, I like that.
Have your sprinkles and
that's gonna be my next slogan.
Keep death away. The healthier you are, the better chances you have of living longer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've seen so many older people now in their 80s, 90s working out, and I have a friend in the bike group, San Antonio riders. His dad's 84 or 92, one of the two. Riding, canoeing. I mean, he's doing everything, which is fabulous, because if you want to live long, you want to have a good, you want to have a healthy life, not live to your 100, but be in bed, suffering so many years.
Well, I think that, I really think that is what our bodies are designed for. I think it's culture that tells us, oh, when you start to get 80 or 90, you're supposed to slow down and think about it. If you look at, I haven't watched it yet, it's on Netflix, but I've seen other things about the blue zones, where these are places in the world where people are the most healthy. And it's normal to see people in their 80s and 90s. I remember when we lived in Germany, and we would see older people all the time walking to the store, riding bikes. And I was like, oh, or like they live in homes and they still have stairs, And so I think, especially in our American culture, the way we live, right? And it's just that, okay, if you don't take care of yourself, by the time you're 80, you are decrepit, right? But when you look at cultures where they stay active, they have a healthy lifestyle, they don't work to, live to work, they work to live, it's normal.
And they don't live to eat, they
Eat to live. Yes, that too. It's normal to see someone in their 80s or 90s that's viable. But in our culture, we're like, oh my gosh, you're 80 and still
You're shocked, right? It's like,
why should that be? Why should we be shocked? You know, it should be normal.
it should.
Because it's just our culture, the way it's the way it is, why it is. So yeah.
My grandma, she just turned 80 this year, and she still cuts grass. She still does everything. She says it's because she's from Mexico, you know, but it's not, you know. I just think it's just for good health, you know what I mean?
Well, she probably eats some vegetables,
No, she eats a lot of vegetables.
diet.
She's never had any high cholesterol, stuff like that. You know, all she has is now is arthritis in the knee, and that's just something new, you know. But I tell her it's her stubbornness that keeps her going. She refuses to sit down and take a break.
Wow.
And that's what she does. And I guess
She's
that's
very
where
active.
I get it from, you know, because you
That's
see
a good
that,
thing.
you know.
That's a good thing to model after, you know, your family, because you know, you don't want to model the bad stuff.
Right.
That's one of the things that keeps me, I don't know if it's good or bad, but my mom actually passed away from renal failure. And that's one of the things that I'm like, I'm not going there. Diabetes will not be in my life, you know. So I challenge myself, you know, that, do what? You know, play mind tricks, because I saw my mom suffer. I tried to help her, you know. We were lucky enough to have her. I don't know if you want to say lucky or not, but she was on dialysis for 9 years. So she did hang in there. She was a fighting warrior. But it did take a toll on her. You could see it day after day after day. It was horrible, and I don't want to go there. So I know that's what keeps me staying on the right, you know, track.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom passed away when I was 25, and she had cervical cancer, and she had diabetes. She had like all sorts of stuff. So a lot of stuff played into that, you know. And she also found out she was having kidney failure. So when she went to get the hysterectomy for the, you know, ovarian cancer, she ended up passing away a week later. And so it's just you know, and then it wasn't, and it was over a heart attack at that, you know. So I was pregnant with my second child, and I just couldn't, you know. So that's, I guess, like I try to make it.
Yeah, sugar poisons your body. It's all it does, and it's in different forms. Whether it's the what do you call it, the syrup or the powder or whatever.
You can eat too much fruit, and now it be bad for you. You know, fruits are good for you, but if you eat too much, the sugars will also be bad.
Right. What I recently learned, I was telling Bonita, because I watch a lot of podcasts, is that if you eat it at the right time, you're okay. So one of the things that I learned was, like, if you eat vegetables with your food, eat your vegetables first, because if your vegetables have fiber, they will line your stomach, preventing the insulin or sugar from being absorbed in your body. Another thing is, if you're gonna eat a sweet, it's okay to eat it, but don't eat it in the morning, because when you wake up in the morning, your body's starving. So if you eat a sugar, it's gonna absorb it. Don't eat it at night, because you're gonna go to bed and your body's gonna absorb it. Eat it in the middle of the day. Go for a walk or go do your exercise, and it's gonna work for you, not against you.
But portion control is everything. Also,
Yeah.
you can have, like, I've seen so many fitness people eat whatever they want, you know. But it's all about portion control. You can have, if you're having a craving, just get like a small piece of a cake or
Just
a small,
taste it.
Yeah,
sometimes you taste it and you didn't even like it.
But then you can't have the cake at the house. Like,
you know, you can.
Right? I mean,
Like
you
HEB has like those little single
Yeah,
slices of
that's
cake,
it.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, just take
It's gone,
half of
it's
that.
gone.
Yeah. And I thought, never mind, you know.
Yeah.
But you
Discipline
can't
is
eat the
definitely
whole
key.
cake. Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, I heard a fitness person, I remember, never forget, on Oprah, he was saying the same, like, if you eat sweets or anything like that, have it at a restaurant, have it out, so when you're going home, that's it, right? But if you make a cake, you're gonna
eat the whole
cake. Eat the whole cake, at least half of it, right?
Yeah.
Or the same thing, they got those one slices at HEB, it's like, eat that slice and then you're done, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
It's crazy, thinking about it right now. My son just had a birthday last month, And I asked him, what cake do you want? And he's like, well, let's go for tres leches, right? So we go to Sam's and we're looking. I'm like, do you want the big one? And he's like, oh no, just get the little one, because that way we could throw it away. I was like, dang, he's learned so well. So we gave ourselves the opportunity to have
You
it.
have all that, you're gonna want to eat it. You're not gonna want to throw it away.
It was delicious, but I didn't have the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think I bake so much, I just really don't touch my stuff anymore. Like, I just stare at it.
It's true. You kind of like
I'm just like,
had
even those
it
cupcakes.
enough.
Yeah, the cupcakes I made for
the last event.
yes. The gender reveal. I had extra cupcakes, and then I saved them for my kids. And my kids were like, "You don't want one?" I'm like, "I'm good." Like, I was just staring at it because I was just like, "It's pretty. I don't want to touch it." But like, yeah,
That's a good
I don't.
problem to have.
Yes, definitely. Well, ladies, thank you so much for sharing about yourselves today, for
Thank
joining us, and for supporting women the way you do. Not just women, right? But supporting folks the way you do, because, like I said before, and I'll say it again, keep repeating, and try to do the best that I can in my life is help others, love on others, because that's what we're here for at the end of the day. And I want to thank you all for tuning in today. If you are on, please say hi. I mean, I know it's kind of late, but let me know you were here so I can know who's supporting. And if you watch the replay, also let me know you watched the replay. Also, I want to thank Women Unlimited for giving us the space and the opportunity to learn. And if you've never had a podcast, come join us for either an interview, or $50 gets you your own hour. Get your word out there, talk to people, tell people what you're about, what your focus is, who you support, things like that. Again, it's Friday the 13th, and guess who's lucky? We are. Thank you. Have a great weekend. PAnn out.
Bye.
I always say that. PAnn out.